can imagine a lot of people are asking questions about BTS because we cannot title a program
They
with
were
a
already
K-pop in it.
disappointed, I guess.
I know. I hope
We
they are
never say a
not.
word on BTS
I
so
know.
far.
I hope they learned something about how BTS came into being somehow. But I guess, a lot of people so many people have been talking about why are they so successful? And, I mean, if somebody can sort of come up with a formula, I'm sure everybody will be successful. So I wouldn't really go there. But do you think somebody like BTS can really influence what's happening in, say, US pop scene? Or is the success of BTS going to change, as it has already probably done, what's going on in Korea? Like what, I guess, that's two separate questions. I realize that. So would BTS keep going to be successful, and would that open more doors to other Koreans musicians to become and Blackpink is also becoming a huge star here as well. So will that keep happening? And then how will that change the Korean music business? Again, I realize that that's a huge question again, but
Yeah, huge question. Well, I think BTS probably the most important figure in Korean pop music history, because I mean it's happening globally. I mean, we had a lot of like really amazing musicians, in terms of their skills and talent. But this is happening really a different world. I mean, BTS not just changing the idea of Korean pop music in general, but it actually changing the whole kind of cultural traffic globally. For instance, in this galaxy, there was only one sun. I mean, for 200 years, it was U.S. Well, UK, but UK music was usually part of U.S. industry, Canada as well. And Latin music, well, definitely is a thing right now. But Latin, along with European culture and African American culture, those were a part of American society. But all of a sudden, this guys from South Korea, they're changing everything. I mean, the most important thing is, again, there's this cultural traffic. There's only one sun, spreading the rays everywhere, and there was no competition. No matter what, for 200 years, they never allowed any international superstar become a pop star. I think that's really important implication. There were a lot of like genre music stars, well, maybe not star, but great musicians who would do jazz, classical, R&B, hip hop. But we had never had Asian pop star who is actually a global pop star at the same time. I read a Rolling Stone the issue recently, and the title itself is really simple and symbolic. It says "World's Biggest Band." Simple as that. We don't have any. They don't have any like another words to describe this band anymore. No adjective. No, yeah, they don't need that. They're just world's biggest band. I think that implied a lot. I mean, it was not just music, but the whole idea that if you're Asian, traditionally, sorry, if you're an Asian kid who's doing music, if you're a rapper, you will kind of consciously or unconsciously think that you are a local star. You're an Asian pop star or Korean pop star for Korean people. Well, we had Hallyu before, but it was mostly a Asian phenomenon, and a European country as well, but nobody actually dominated United States pop scene before BTS. So it was actually not about the talent itself. It was not about the music itself, but the whole influence they're making. Whole imagination they would create. It's phenomenal. I mean, it's a really historic movement. So we're not really knowing what's really happening because we're in the middle of that. But after 5 years, 10 years, we will definitely look back now, and yeah, they made it. They made this whole transition, the
Mm.
whole change of history back then. So I'm still figuring out, honestly. I mean, I think, well, for me, the most important difference of BTS is their music. Definitely, they're talking about the performance, the visuals and music video, especially social media. Everyone's having social media, so it's probably one of their tactics, one of the way they communicate with fans. But it's not a secret like ingredient for the success of BTS. So it's just music that is so powerful, and it's so universal. I mean, if you don't know anything about the what they're talking about, you can definitely feel something. I mean, it's very interesting. I mean, I listen to a lot of K-pop songs, but the music of BTS, I don't know, the chord progression, maybe arrangement, the singing style, or the emotion delivered from the I don't know, vocals. It actually makes you think, makes you wonder. It brings you bring back to your memory lane. It's so powerful, the music itself, and the lyrics. It's phenomenal. I mean, I've never seen any like contemporary teen pop or pop stars who actually talking about map of the soul, love yourself, and not just one song. The whole idea is this concept of the album, and the struggles of youth, agony. Um, yeah, I mean, it's talking about who you are, and that was something really missing from the pre-existing K-pop industry. Because I mean, K-pop, we already always believed the Korean people, like expert like me, or industry people, we always believe that um this whole like visual thing and the state of art music would be the only thing that we need for global audience. Because I mean, they would never understand the lyrics, or they never really kind of sympathize with the feelings, actually, the idea of philosophy or something like that. So that's why many like companies focused on the technicality, not just the narrative with stories and emotions and things like that. But BTS really changed that mindset, the concept, and the influence is now everywhere. I mean, they are constantly looking for idol artists who can write, who can produce like BTS, and who can express ideas raw. I mean, in very raw kind of narrative, more genuine, more authentic narrative. So yeah, I could spend the whole night talking
Yeah.
about BTS, but that's about it for now.
Yeah, and and I guess that's the power of music, that people can still somehow relate to this seven young men from Korea, even though they don't quite
Yeah.
understand what they're saying. But and maybe one day you can come back and tell us all about BTS.
Sure.
Yeah.